Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you've got a smartphone, an email address, or literally any messaging app, this one is absolutely for you. Today we're talking about online survival, specifically right inside our digital inboxes. We're going to break down exactly how modern scammers operate, how they disguise their traps, and most importantly, how you can spot them before it's too late. Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to the modern battlefield. Because scammers, well, they don't just send obvious, poorly written junk mail anymore. They disguise their traps as everyday messages from sources you actually think you trust. We're talking about a sudden pop-up for a massive prize, a text alert for free data, or maybe a really terrifying warning that your account has been blocked. These are carefully crafted hooks, purely designed to catch you off guard.
I want you to pause for just a second here. Really think about your own immediate emotional reaction to a sudden ping on your phone. If you get a text saying you've just won 100,000 Naira, or that your bank account is literally being shut down in 10 minutes, would you click that link? Because scammers are banking on that split-second panicked reaction.
So to make sure you never fall for those tricks, here is our roadmap for today. 1. The danger of scam links. 2. How identity theft actually happens. 3. Verifying senders and sources. 4. Protecting your private codes. And 5. The essential online safety rules. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the danger of scam links.
So, scammers heavily rely on human emotion, things like fear, greed, or even just curiosity to totally bypass your logical thinking. And their primary weapon for this? It's phishing. Phishing is a scam method used to collect private details. We're talking your date of birth, bank account number, password, PIN, OTP, card details, or identity documents. What's absolutely crucial to understand here is that it's not always about asking you for immediate cash. Sometimes they just want the keys to your digital life, scooping up tiny pieces of your identity until they have enough to take over completely.
So how do we actually spot them? You need to build a mental checklist for deception every single time your phone buzzes. Look for the early warning signs. Are there poor spelling and grammar mistakes? Is the website name just slightly off? Is there a terrifying, super urgent deadline? Are you being pressured to keep the messages secret, or maybe pay a tiny fee to unlock a much bigger prize? If you see any of these, red flags should be flying in your mind.
Moving right along to Section 2, how identity theft happens.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, what's really the worst that could happen with a single bad click? Well, this is the anatomy of identity theft, and this brilliantly illustrates how things spiral once a criminal has your name, your phone number, or maybe your date of birth. First, they scam you, the victim, draining your accounts. But then they use your identity to scam your contacts, messaging your friends and family for emergency money. They can even use your clean reputation to open totally fraudulent accounts with trusted organizations. It is a complete hijacking of your financial life.
And honestly, the attacks multiply so fast. Your stolen data gets weaponized. They reset your passwords. They apply for fake loans in your name. And they send desperate messages to your loved ones pretending to be you in trouble. See, your data doesn't just protect you. It protects literally everyone connected to you. Which brings us to Section 3, verifying senders and sources. Time to fight back. Now, what's really interesting about this is how incredibly easy it is to look past a fake display name. A scammer can easily make their sender name say your bank. But if you take a second to look at the actual email address hiding right underneath that, you'll usually see something completely ridiculous, like bankhelp123@gmail.com. And hey, if a friend urgently asks for money on WhatsApp, don't just text them back. Pick up the phone and call them directly on a number you already know.
It really all comes down to recognizing the psychological tactics being played against you. Scammers love phrases like act now, don't tell anyone, or pay immediately. They need you panicked so you don't think straight. Genuine organizations, on the other hand, they'll tell you to contact them via their official app or website, and they will absolutely never pressure you to act in the next 60 seconds. Urgency is the ultimate red flag. So, to beat that artificial urgency, I want you to adopt this simple rule. Stop, breathe, verify. Here are your 3 practical steps. 1. Confirm through official channels. Literally type the bank's website into your browser yourself. 2. Search for the offer independently, because if a telecom company is really giving away free data, it's going to be on their official verified social media page. And 3. Never, ever verify by replying to the suspicious message or calling the number they provided in the text. You're just calling the scammer right back.
Next up is Section 4, protecting your private codes.
This is your frontline defense. So the crucial point is this absolute, non-negotiable rule. No genuine organization will ever, under any circumstances, ask for your OTP, your PIN, or your password via a link, a chat, or a phone call. If someone calls claiming they need your OTP to reverse a failed transaction, it is a lie. Period. If you encounter this, you stop immediately. Hang up that phone and contact your bank directly through their official verified app or website.
And while we're talking about protecting sensitive info, here is a super quick absolute rule of digital hygiene. If you click a link and the web address begins with just http:// instead of https://, it is not secure. Missing that S is a big deal. Never enter your personal, banking, or business information on a site that lacks it.
Let's wrap things up with Section 5, Essential Online Safety Rules.
Let's just rapid-fire shatter some of those too-good-to-be-true myths that constantly circulate on our messaging apps. First, avoid random links entirely. Next, no, telecom companies are not secretly sharing 50 gigabytes of data via a forwarded WhatsApp message. The government isn't distributing relief funds through random group chats either. In your bank, they are absolutely not handing out cash gifts to random people online. If you see these, for sure, it is a scam.
You just have to stop and beware of fake offers. Treat everything as suspicious until it's confirmed. Taking just 10 seconds to independently verify an offer by checking the official government website or just opening your actual bank app is literally the difference between keeping your life secure and handing over the keys to a criminal.
Because look, the scammers are out there, right? And their traps are getting more sophisticated every single day. But now you have the playbook to beat them. So the next time your phone pings with a terrifying warning or some amazing, unbelievable prize, will you remember to stop, breathe, and verify? Will you actually pause before you click? Keep your guard up, stay secure out there, and thanks so much for joining us on this explainer.
Welcome to the quiz section, Fastest Finger Edition.
Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're turning you into a full-fledged digital detective to protect your most sensitive online information. Let's get right into it. Okay, I want to start by asking a really high-stakes question. What actually happens when you type your passwords and credit card numbers into your browser? Seriously, think about it for a second. When you hit enter, where's that information going? And more importantly, who might be watching from the shadows? We're starting right at the scene of the crime. See, when your data is sent in plain text without any encryption, it's completely visible to literally anyone on the network path. This leaves you incredibly vulnerable to things like identity theft, major financial loss, and credential stuffing, which is just a fancy term for hackers mass stealing your passwords. Section 1. Scene of the crime. HTTP versus HTTPS. You know that red not secure warning you sometimes see? That's your browser waving a massive red flag telling you your data is at risk. On the flip side, you've got the green at HTTPS with the little padlock, indicating a secure encrypted connection. It turns out that little S at the end, it literally changes everything. Behind the scenes, the contrast is honestly staggering. With standard HTTP, your plain text data is basically sitting in wide open boxes, just sliding down a public conveyor belt for anyone to grab. But with HTTPS, your data is packed up in safeguarded, locked boxes traveling safely through a reinforced tunnel. Imagine you're hanging out at a coffee shop or waiting at the airport. If you fill out any kind of form on a standard hypertext transfer protocol site, someone eavesdropping on that public network might see every single keystroke you send. Whether you're on public Wi-Fi or even at home, if it's HTTP, your passwords and private data are just sitting out in the open. So, before we go even a step further, just stop and think. Never, ever hand over your credit cards, passport details, real-time location, date of birth, or passwords if you don't see that secure indicator. No padlock, you absolutely cannot trust the connection. Period. That S in HTTPS, it's all about security. It acts as a literal shield between your personal device and hackers lurking on the network. What it does is take your perfectly readable text and scrambles it into absolute gibberish for anyone trying to snoop.
Let's lift the hood here for a second. This encrypted connection locks your data inside a secure tunnel where only the intended server holds the key to decrypt it. Your browser scrambles it, shoots it through the tunnel, and only that specific website's server can unlock it on the other side. That guarantees both data confidentiality and data integrity. But wait, here is the massive plot twist of our investigation. Just because a connection is encrypted does not automatically mean the person on the other end isn't a criminal. This is a huge trap so many people fall into. Today, anyone, including a phisher, can get an SSL certificate for a fraudulent site for free in a matter of minutes. So what's the game plan? You have to combine looking for that padlock with a super careful inspection of the actual website address. Because an encrypted connection to a scammer just means you're securely handing your data straight to a scammer. Keep a secure website checklist in the back of your mind, especially for those high-risk situations, like if a form suddenly asks for your ATM PIN, a CVV code, or promises some prize that seems way too good to be true. When you see promises of free gifts or urgent, panic-inducing requests for personal data, that's exactly when your detective senses need to be on high alert. Stop, breathe, and ask yourself, is this actually the official website? To spot these clever scams, we're going to need a new forensic tool, which means understanding exactly what a domain name actually is. Think of it as the true core identity of the website, which is always located right before the domain extension, like the .com or .org. Let's level up those detective skills with one critical rule. You must train yourself to read URLs backwards. I know it sounds weird, but start by finding the end of the URL, the domain extension. Then look at the very first name immediately to the left of it to find the site's true core identity. Let's do a quick practice run. Think about a web address like amazon.diwali-festivals.com. If we read that right to left, the word right before the .com is Diwali Festivals. That means this site has absolutely zero to do with Amazon. It fully belongs to Diwali Festivals, which is some random domain we don't know. The exact same goes for facebook.support-prize.com. That's owned by Support Prize, not Facebook.
Section 2. The ultimate test, spotting fake banks.
Look, scammers heavily rely on panic and poorly checked URLs to trick you into entering your banking details on sites they completely control. They'll blast out an urgent email, you click the link in a panic, and suddenly you're looking at a page that looks exactly like your bank. But if you look closely at that address bar, the truth is always hiding in plain sight. Notice how perfectly this works when you read it backwards. Take an address like something.ecobank.com. That is a safe subdomain. Why? Because the word right before the .com is Ecobank. It legitimately belongs to the bank. But look at the sneaky, fraudulent flip side. ecobank.something.com. Because the word right before the .com is something, it's a total scam, controlled by whoever owns something. Let's quickly review our survival guide to really lock in these skills. Yes, rely on the padlock for connection safety, but you have to rely on your own eyes to decode the true domain name before you type a single password. Always read backwards, find the .com, and look at the single word right next to it. Do not let trusted brands fool you by hiding way over on the far left of the address. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to keep your accounts locked down tight. You've got the tools of a digital detective now. So the very next time you log in, will you stop and look before the .com?
Welcome to the quiz section, Fastest Finger Edition.
Welcome to this explainer. You know, every single time you open your phone or browse the web, you're basically stepping right onto a digital battlefield. I know, that sounds a bit intense, right? But the reality of modern digital fraud is that scammers aren't just lurking in the dark, sketchy corners of the internet anymore. Nope, they are right there in your WhatsApp chats and your everyday social feeds. So today, we're unpacking a complete survival toolkit. We're going to give you everything you need to shield yourself against the traps designed to steal your hard-earned money and your personal data. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We've got 5 key areas to cover. 1. The habit of checking. 2. Practical steps for safety. 3.
Beyond links, common scams. 4. Recognizing modern scam tactics. And finally, 5. The golden rule. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. The habit of checking. This is all about building your daily practice.
So, the absolute most important thing to wrap your head around is that online safety isn't just some one-time software update you install and forget about. It's daily practice. True safety means developing the critical habit of checking, well, absolutely everything. You've got to check every link, literally hovering over it to see where it actually goes. You need to check every single offer and independently verify every single payment request. Before your finger even taps that screen, your brain needs to automatically ask, wait, is this actually real?
Section 2. Practical steps for safety. This is your actionable how-to guide.
Now that we know we need to build this habit, let's get into the nitty-gritty of exactly how to do it. Here are the first 5 steps of our 10-step manual. What's really key here is step 3, inspecting the actual domain name. Scammers absolutely love creating convincing fake URLs, so you always have to check the word right before the .com or the .org. Plus, you've got to verify before you click, look for that secure HTTPS, and this is a big one, never ever share your personal information through some random link.
Let's just reinforce that for a second. You absolutely must confirm offers from official sources. Think about it. No genuine bank, no official government agency, and definitely no real telecom company is ever going to just text you a random link and ask you to type in your date of birth or your PIN. It just doesn't happen. If an official brand claims you've won a reward or says you need to update your data, stop. Close the message, open a totally new browser window, and go directly to their verified official website or app to check for yourself.
All right, moving into the second half of our guide. Step 6 is huge, guys. Stop forwarding unverified messages. We have all seen them, right? Those endless WhatsApp chain messages promising free data or some urgent reward. Well, when you forward those without confirming they're actually genuine, you're not helping your friends out. You're literally doing the scammers' work for them. You become the trusted face delivering their trap directly to your loved ones.
To sum up these final steps, report suspicious links, use strong security habits like two-factor authentication, and educate your friends. But step 10 is your ultimate fallback. When in doubt, just don't click. Seriously, if an offer creates a weird sense of pressure or if it suddenly asks for sensitive info, ignore it. That is the absolute best action you can take. Ignoring a scammer is a total victory for you.
Section 3. Beyond links. Common scams. Let's look at what else is out there.
Okay, let's take a look at what you're actually defending against out there because scammers have moved way beyond the basic fake link. Criminals aren't just after your bank account details anymore. As you can see, they want the whole shebang. Your passwords, your identity, and even access to your phone and social media so they can literally impersonate you. From fake jobs to tech support fraud, this threat landscape is highly organized.
Let's highlight a few specific red flags here, because the details really matter. You see that fake investment trap? A classic red flag is a message saying something like, invest 20,000 Naira today and withdraw 100,000 Naira tomorrow. Listen, that's not investing. That's a trap, period. Or take a look at the fake job and overseas recruitment scams. They'll ask for registration fees or processing fees right up front. Pay 15,000 Naira now to secure your candidate job slot. Honestly, real jobs pay you. You don't pay to get them.
It's kind of fascinating, honestly, how scammers attack totally different parts of our psychology. Think about a fake job or visa scam. The mechanics there rely entirely on exploiting our greed or our hope. They dangle this totally unrealistic offer of wealth or travel, just hoping you'll ignore the red flags because you want it to be true so badly. But then you have a romance or friendship scam, which operates entirely differently. Here, they might spend weeks or even months manipulating emotional trust. They build a bond with you, and then suddenly, boom, there's a crisis. They'll claim their goods are stuck at customs and literally beg you out of pity to send money promising to repay you. It's the exact same goal, but using entirely different emotional weapons.
Section 4. Recognizing modern scam tactics. Let's talk about the new threats on the block.
So the tactics we just talked about, those are the classics. But fraudsters are innovating rapidly. We're now dealing with sneaky threats like malicious QR codes. You scan what you think is a standard restaurant menu, and it immediately routes you to a fake payment page. Wild, right? We're also seeing social media impersonation, where fraudsters perfectly copy a friend's profile. They'll suddenly message you saying, hey, please vote for my niece by logging in here. It looks exactly like your friend, but it's a trap, perfectly designed to steal your credentials. Let's break down the anatomy of what is probably one of the most dangerous modern threats, the OTP, or one-time password scam. Here's how it goes. You'll get a call from someone who sounds incredibly professional, claiming there's some issue with your account, and they need to process a reversal. Then comes the trap. They'll say, just read the code we just sent to your phone so I can complete the reversal. Hear me loud and clear on this. No genuine customer care agent, bank, or telecom company will ever, under any circumstances, ask you to read a token code, PIN, or OTP over the phone. If they ask for the code, they're the scammer, and they are trying to log into your account right then and there.
And now we have to talk about what is honestly the most frightening new reality: AI voice cloning and deepfake scams. Criminals can now take just a short little clip of someone's voice from social media and use AI to make it say literally whatever they want. Imagine getting a voice note from a relative. It sounds exactly like them, and they are in an absolute panic, asking for an emergency money transfer. This isn't sci-fi, this is happening right now. The rule here is strict. If you get an urgent request for money, even if it sounds exactly like your loved one, you must verify it through another trusted channel. Hang up and call them back on a different number, or ask them a question that only they would know the answer to.
Section 5, the Golden Rule, your ultimate foolproof defense.
We've covered a lot of terrifying ground today, but this right here is the emotional climax of our explainer, the golden rule. Do not rush. Every single scam we have talked about today relies on one critical vulnerability, making you act before you think. If they can make you rush, they win. It's that simple.
Scammers achieve this by turning your own feelings into a weapon against you. This is literally emotional warfare. They aren't just hacking computers and phones anymore. They are hacking human emotions. Take a look at these triggers. Fear. They threaten you with a fake fine or even arrest. Greed. They promise a huge, unbelievable return or a jackpot. Urgency. Demanding immediate payment right the second. Pity. Using fake, heartbreaking stories about disasters or emergencies. Excitement. Offering an exclusive, mind-blowing deal. Recognizing a scam isn't just about carefully reading a URL. It's about recognizing the feeling in your gut. When you feel suddenly panicked by an alert or overly excited by a supposed jackpot, that sudden emotional spike, that is your absolute biggest red flag.
So your defense ultimately comes down to a really simple 3-step mantra. 1. Pause. Just take a breath and break that spell of urgency. 2. Verify. Check the information independently on your own. 3. Ask. Consult a trusted person before you take any action. You absolutely must do this before you ever click a link, pay money, or share your information.
I really want to ask you directly, are you ready to adopt this habit? The very next time an unexpected message makes your heart race, will you pause? Will you take the time to verify? Are you going to stop these scammers dead in their tracks by simply refusing to rush?
As we wrap up and look at this complete summary of everything we've covered, I want to leave you with one really vital thought. You now possess the toolkit to protect yourself, right? But what about your less tech-savvy friends or family members? The most heroic online action you take today might literally just be sharing this exact knowledge with someone who is vulnerable. Cybercriminals completely rely on our silence and our tendency to rush. By slowing down and educating the people around us, we take our digital power back. So stay safe out there, stay sharp, and never ever forget to verify.
Welcome to the quiz section, Fastest Finger Edition.